Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tea Time Crochet. Today we're going to be making this stitch scarf. It's to match the fingerless gloves that we made a couple weeks ago. It's about 60 inches, so it's a good length. I forgot to measure how wide it was, but I'll do that real quick before I start the tutorial. So if you're interested in how to make it, stay tuned. So here's a look at the scarf. Like I said, it's using the V-stitch that we used a couple weeks ago in the fingerless gloves that we made. And those gloves are actually made in the same color. So I wanted to make a matching scarf for it. So it's the V-stitch, which is kind of an open and kind of a little bit lacy of a pattern. It's really nice. The pattern is super simple. It's 6 inches wide by 60 inches long, and you basically, once you get past this first row, you just repeat the next row until you get the length of your scarf. So sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained. I already recorded this and somehow it recorded it sideways, so now I have to start all over again. So now I'm trying to remember what I had already said. So forgive me if I seem a little scatterbrained. That's why. But like I said, this is a really simple scarf, and I think it's really cute. So the things you're going to need are some yarn. I'm going to be using what's left of this yarn that I made the scarf with. I'm just going to be making a sample today, because I've already made the scarf and I don't need to make another one. And like I said, it's the same row that you're repeating over and over again. But what I used was Red Heart Super Saver, and it's a worsted weight yarn. Any worsted weight yarn will work. You could probably even use a number 3 sport weight. If you wanted, you would probably just have to do more rows. But if you used a smaller yarn and the same size hook that I'm going to show you, it would probably turn out a lot lacier. So just keep that in mind. You can always fiddle with it and do a couple rows and see if you like it. But like I said, this is a number 4 worsted weight, and the color is Flamingo. You're going to need a 6mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, and a yarn needle, the usual tools. I have notes, so you may hear my notebook ruffling if I need to go back and check something. And I'm at the end of my skein, what's left of this, and it's really wanting to just tangle up as it comes out, so sorry if I have to pause and untangle myself. So we're going to start off with a slip knot. For the V-stitch, you have to have a multiple of 2. So just keep that in mind if you need to change the measurement at all. With this, you can make the width smaller if you want. Just keeping in mind you have to have a multiple of 2. You can make different lengths if you want. Mine is, like I said, 6 inches wide by 60 inches long, which is a total of 90 rows. But if you want like an average sizing for a child, scarf would be 31 inches long. For a woman's, it would be 64 inches long, and for a man would be 69. But I did 60, and it, fits perfectly. So for mine, I did a total of, what was it? I chained 16 plus 3. So, and the 3 counts as our first double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And you're going to want to put your finger on that stitch because that's the stitch we're going to be working into, is the 16th stitch. So we're going to chain 3 more. So 1, 2, and 3. And then in that 16th stitch, we're going to be working in the back bumps of the chain. So when you normally look at a chain, you have like the V's here. We're going to be flipping it over and working into these back bumps here. And what that's going to do is it's going to create a nice edge for our scarf. That way I don't have to go back and do a single crochet to neaten it up. So in the back bump of that 4th chain from the hook, which is our 16th stitch. I hope that doesn't confuse anybody. So we're counting back 4 stitches from the hook. We're going to put a V-stitch, which is 2 double crochets. And then we're going to skip 1, and then in the next one we're going to put 2 double crochets. And then we're going to skip 1, and in the next one we're going to put 2 double crochets. And we are going to repeat that all the way until we get to our last stitch. Our last stitch is going to be just 1 double crochet. Okay, so we have 3 stitches left. I'm going to skip 1 and then put my V-stitch in the next one. And then in that last stitch, we're going to put 1 double crochet. Just give that a little bit of a tug. And that's what you should have so far. So the next row is the row that we're going to repeat throughout the entire project. So I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to go back into that beginning double or stitch right here with 1 double crochet. So both ends will have 1 double crochet on both ends. So that's going to keep our scarf nice and straight. So just keep that in mind. Each of the end stitches will only have 1 double crochet. So we're going to go over to our V-stitch now. So this is our V-stitch, and you can tell because it has the 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. So this is what it looks like. We're not going to be working to the top of those stitches. We're going to actually be working in between those stitches. So you need to find your V-stitch, and then you're going to be working right in between those 2 stitches with 2 double crochets. And that's kind of what gives it the, once you have a bunch of them stacked up on top of each other, that's kind of what gives it that little bit of a gap. So now all you can do is just look over and find your next V-stitch. So here's your next V-stitch, and you're going to be putting 2 double crochets in the center of that V-stitch. I'm sorry about the airplane. So in the next, we're going to look over and find our next V-stitch, and we're going to put 2 double crochets in the center of that. And we're going to do that all the way across until we get to our last stitch, which is going to be our chain 3. And that's really what makes this scarf so simple, because you just really have to look at it. You don't have to count. It kind of just, you automatically know where you need to go once you get a little bit of progress done. So here's my last V-stitch, and I'm going to put 2 double crochets into it. And then I have my chain 3 here, so at the top of that chain 3, I'm going to put a double crochet. So you're just going to repeat this row until you have the length that you want. For mine, like I said, I did a total of 90 rows. So that's 90 V-stitch rows. That's not counting the chain stitch row. So I just counted up 90 V-stitches. You could make it longer or shorter depending on, your preference. Like I said, for mine, that's pretty much the perfect length. You could go off the standard lengths that I gave you. But go ahead and finish all of your length, and then all you got to do is just fasten off. Once you just pull the yarn through like this and cut it, and then hide all your ends, and you're done. There's no cleanup work around the edges. You only have 2 tails to hide. If you make the scarf and the matching gloves, they make great gifts. Like I've said before, when for me, I start making all of my Christmas gifts in the summer. So this would make an excellent Christmas gift. It's always best if you're going to do handmade items that you work on them many months in advance. Especially if you have a lot of people that you want to make stuff for. And, it's better just to, work on it and get out of the way. But like I said, this, you could use, different types of yarn. Variegated yarn would be really pretty. Although with variegated yarn, you probably wouldn't see the pattern as much, but if you use like a carrot cake or an ombre yarn, it would be very pretty. I just seen that Red Heart is coming out with I can't remember what it was called. It's just like a type of ombre yarn, so it starts out darker and then gets lighter, or the opposite. So yeah, just you could try out different yarns and make the matching fingerless gloves, and they make perfect gifts. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.